met this mountain lion while hiking one day in Towsley Canyon. It was either him or me. Hello, my name is Philip Scorza, and I'd like to welcome you to our program, Points of Interest. We're standing in front of the lodge up here at Towsley Canyon, and I am talking with Rorie Skei. This is the lady who runs this place. Rorie, give us your title.
I'm the Division Chief for the Rim of the Valley for the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy.
Okay, and the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy just recently purchased this property, is that correct?
Actually, the Conservancy purchased this property that we're standing on 5 years ago, actually more than 5 years ago, in late 1989.
Okay, but you did make a purchase recently that I read about. Tell us about that.
Very big one.
Yes.
Chevron Corporation, obviously everyone knows what Chevron is, the big oil company. Chevron has held over 3,000 acres in what we call the Santa Clarita Woodlands for well over 100 years. And in an extremely historic agreement, the Conservancy is purchasing 2,100 of those acres and receiving in donation an additional 850 acres from Chevron. And we are thrilled, and I know everybody in Santa Clarita is too.
Right. Now, we should talk a little bit. What is the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy? Let me see if I have this straight. You're trying to have a green belt from here all the way out to the ocean?
That's pretty good.
Is
yes,
that it?
Indeed. The Conservancy is a state agency, an agency of the state of California that was formed by the state legislature in 1980 with the role of the charge of acquiring parkland and open space trail connections and providing public access and educational environmental opportunities in what's called the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy Zone. And originally that was mainly just the Santa Monica Mountains over the coastal mountains. Subsequently, the legislature expanded our zone to what's now called the Rim of the Valley Corridor. And this property here in Santa Clarita and the North Valley, all the way down to Sierra Madre, and far west is Moore Park, is part of the Rim of the Valley.
Oh, okay. So if I had a horse, I could actually ride my horse from here through this property all the way out to the ocean then?
Well, that is our ultimate goal. There's still lots of private ownerships in between, and we never encourage people to trespass, but indeed there is a master plan for trail connections that could take you from Santa Clarita to the ocean.
You haven't gotten all the land yet that you need?
No, but we're actually making some pretty good headway, and this Chevron purchase is a big step in that direction.
I know, and as a resident of Santa Clarita, I'm really thrilled that you have purchased this property. I told you earlier, I've hiked in these mountains, and we have some absolutely gorgeous scenery here. A lot of people don't realize we have creeks that run year-round, waterfalls, and tell us some of the plans you're going to have for future here.
Indeed, because there's a lot of very rugged terrain, we're not trying to leave the impression that every square foot of this property is going to be immediately accessible. Much of it needs to just remain the way it is and perhaps be untouched by human footprints, leave it to the critters. But we actually right now have a trail flagged that we're ready to start work on between Wiley Canyon, which is the end of our other trailhead here near the front of the canyon, that will go back across the Chevron property and then to other property that we do own in the back of Towsley Canyon. So we can have, at that point, then a really nice loop trail that would take people through the bottom of Towsley, around through the rugged gorge area, the backcountry, and then come out to some high vista points where you can see some of the incredible scenery and the incredible botanical resources that are here in these canyons. I
know how rugged that property is. I have tried to hike some of it, and the roads that are cut in here were cut in by the oil companies for over many year period of time?
Exactly.
Okay.
In fact, in Wiley Canyon there's still lots of evidence of old oil wells and some of the other properties, particularly up in Pico Canyon where Chevron had their wells. And that's something else that will be happening. Chevron has some more environmental remediation that they would like to do. So for the
what does that mean, remediation? You mean you're going to clean it up?
Cleaning up, yeah.
Okay.
The wells have all been abandoned, so that's taken care of. But there's old debris, sometimes some old artifacts. We want to save all the historical stuff. Just plain old junk. We want to have it taken out.
Right.
And I think it's a matter of interest that much of this land has natural oil seeps.
Yes.
That's what brought the oil companies out here in the first place.
Right. You can actually hike in Wiley Canyon Trail and see where the oil is seeping out of the ground and,
Right.
and that sort of thing, bubbling out of the earth.
Yeah, and we will be putting together some interpretive signage so that when hikers come across it, they won't panic and think, oh my goodness, we have a major toxic Superfund site here.
Or run out and try and make a claim, too.
Well, that too. It is sometimes disconcerting when you see that much goo coming out of the ground and it smells like petroleum product.
Yeah.
But it has been ongoing for thousands and thousands of years.
Well, my old buddy Paul Higgins tells us that the Tataviam Indians ran around this area and they used to use that oil for all sorts of various uses. So
That's right.
it's not new to the area. It's not dangerous. It's just natural.
Just gooey, sort of like the globs of tar you'll find on the beaches in Santa Barbara and Ventura.
Yes, we know where they came from. Yes. Now, you also got the property, the Mentryville property in this purchase, right? And what are your plans for that?
Mentryville, as I think most everyone knows, is the historic town that was part of the oil production town.
We did a show on that already.
Oh, good, very
Yeah.
good. There is the buildings that are there are in pretty good shape, with the exception of the Mr. Mentry's house, the so-called
big house.
The big house, the
Right.
superintendent's house, and we are scouting out firms and contractors who can help us get that back at least on its footings. That's the immediate plan, is to get it straightened out, and then we have a fundraising campaign that we're going to get going and restore that house.
Oh, good.
So that we can have it as either a museum, for tours. The possibilities are endless. We don't have anything concrete in mind yet, but we do know that it's very important to the Historical Society. It's very important to Chevron. It's very important to us, the
And the community
and
here.
the community
Yes,
to
yes.
have that structure saved and if maybe not back to its complete former glory. I know the Legacy spent a lot of time and effort in
Right.
making it beautiful,
Right.
but we would like to really have that as a true community resource.
It is a great place. I know you think you told me earlier you're going to have somebody living on the premises, but it is closed right now. You can't get in there.
That's correct, because there is so much restoration that needs to be done. We do have to do the best planning possible to protect the historic resources that are there, and to protect visitors as well. And as I said, in the meantime, Chevron does have some trucks that'll be going in and out for this remediation work. So,
Okay.
so we're working with the Historical Society, City of Santa Clarita Parks Department, and we expect to have some community planning meetings too to get input on things they'd like to see.
Great, great. Now tell me a little bit about the lodge here, as you call it. For those of you who have never been up here or you don't know, this lodge is actually available. You can rent this lodge for an evening or 2 evenings, whatever you will.
As long as your money holds out, yes. Indeed, it sleeps 20 people.
20?
I
can invite 19 of my favorite
There
friends.
you go. It has a full kitchen and 2 big common rooms with fireplaces, and it has been very popular. A lot of folks have had it for weddings. We've had corporate parties. We've had church groups, scouts, retreats, that sort of thing. Sometimes just family reunions. People just...
Because I know there's a pool out back.
That's right.
And I saw some horses. Do they come with the house?
Those horses belong to the ranger and his wife, and he uses those for some of the patrol around the park. But that is a good idea. And we would love at some time to have perhaps a concessionaire at the front of the canyon, someplace who would like to run a rental string. I think that'd be a real feature, to have people on horseback being able to use this property.
It would be a fun place to go horseback riding. How about the building itself? When was it built and who built it?
It was built in the early 70s, and I believe by the Arnett family.
Who are they?
Mr. and Mrs. Arnett. Mr. Arnett was a veterinarian, I believe.
Oh. Must have been a wealthy veterinarian from the looks of the place.
The Rivendell Ranch, the rodeo property that was in the front, was a thriving concern. It was a very popular destination spot.
That's that Spanish-style building we see at the entrance?
There were rodeo and all sorts of horse-related activities down there in the front. And the people that built this facility also ran the Rivendell rodeo.
Oh, I see. Oh, so he had kind of a built-in clientele then, didn't he, down there? Yeah. So he put it up in the early 70s, and they lived here for a few years?
I believe so. And I'm not as clear on all the history of that. I'm sure Jerry Reynolds knows.
We'll have to ask our old buddy Jerry.
I once, but I'm getting my various occupants of the building perhaps not as straight in my mind as I would like.
But you told me that there was some earthquake damage.
Yes, as everyone in Santa Clarita knows, the January 17th, 94 earthquake was pretty devastating. This particular building sustained major damage. The whole roof slid off. The chimney was down. We had pretty significant damage. And I was so pleased that our agency personnel, we have a construction staff, and our ranger staff were able to do the demolishing they needed to do and get the whole place back together in less than 6 months. We had our grand reopening in June of '94, along with
yes, I was going to say the brand new potties over here, as they say.
Real flush toilets. Yes.
Yes. Nice facilities, I might add. Now, the Sonia Thompson Nature Center here at Towsley Canyon Park. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, it's named after Sonia Thompson, who was a longtime project manager for the Conservancy. She and Joe Edmiston, the executive director, were the two original employees. And when Sonia retired, we wanted to honor her because this particular canyon, Towsley Canyon, the Santa Clarita Woodlands, was a special love of hers. And in fact, I think part of the reason we're out in this neck of the woods and away from Malibu is because of Sonia's interest in the area. Yes.
Oh, that's great. We've taken some pictures of it, so you get a chance to look and see what's inside there. And we're also going to get some pictures inside the house. A little bit about this area. This is called Ed Davis Park?
Ed Davis Park in Towsley Canyon.
In Towsley Canyon.
Right.
And Ed Davis, if I recall my history, was a state senator?
Yes, Senator Davis, and former chief of police of Los Angeles in a previous incarnation. Senator Davis had a great love for the Santa Clarita Woodlands, and some of the people in Santa Clarita had told him how wonderful this property was, how great it would be to be parkland. And about the time that Towsley Canyon was being studied for a dump by Los Angeles County Sanitation Districts, Senator Davis asked the Conservancy to purchase this property. It became available in order to have a foothold here in the canyon and save it forever. And we used that foothold, the original 145 acres, which included this house and these grounds, as our entree into starting to acquire additional property out here.
Now, have you gotten all the property you need to save us from this next dump?
I think it's pretty unlikely that a dump could be configured back here at this point.
I was curious, will we ever be able to hike from here up to the ridge? Because your property goes up to the ridge line. Is it Oat Mountain?
Oat Mountain. Yeah. Absolutely. In fact, the East Canyon entrance, which is a little farther down the road, off the old road, we have property that we did buy in '90, the 22 acres at the front, an old abandoned motel site.
Oh, that's what that is.
Stable, right. That is will be a trailhead staging area. The Chevron property extends that far down and behind there. We will be able to, I think within a few years, be able to walk from the old road up to the crest of Oat Mountain along what's called the Oat Mountain Motorway. It's a fire road. Intervening there is property owned by BFI, Browning Ferris Industries.
Okay.
However, that is the property that's in East Canyon that would take us up to the ridge line is slated for dedication to Los Angeles County Parks Department.
Oh, great.
So we have a straight shot up to the ridge.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Now, I know you brought a map with, can we take a look at that?
You bet.
Okay.
Let me orient your viewers. This is I-5 going northbound, main part of Newhall, Santa Clarita up here. Magic Mountain is just off the map. And we are just off the Calgrove exit in Ed Davis Park, right about this location here. The Chevron property that we will be purchasing is this big block all around going up to Pico Canyon, and Mentryville is at the end of Pico Canyon Road. You can see how rugged the terrain is on these topo maps, USGS topo maps. All the little wiggles indicate steep slopes. The very top of the Santa Susana Mountains, Oat Mountain itself, is down in this location. So San Fernando Valley below and Santa Clarita above.
Well, I would like to thank Rorie for giving us a tour of Towsley Canyon and showing us the lodge and coming up here and joining us and telling us about your future plans. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Phil.
Here we see a portrait of Darius C. Towsley, early pioneer and oil explorer in Towsley Canyon. Here we see a nice drawing of two men using the spring pole oil well drilling process. They happen to have one of these actually set up over at Heritage Junction. Here we have a reproduction of Native American rock art dated between 500 and 1000 AD. It was copied from a cave in a local canyon. The Native American Indians that inhabited this area were the Tatavian, Chumash, and Tongvas. Many animals inhabited this area. There was the bobcat, coyote, mule deer, mountain lion, gray fox, rabbits and opossums, raccoons, and of course the badger.
There's pictures of Paul. There's pictures of Paul.
Shortly after we did our interview with Rorie just a few weeks ago, there was a fire that took place here in Towsley Canyon. In fact, right behind me here in up Wiley Canyon is where most of the fire took place. And so what we thought we'd do today is take a hike up Wiley Canyon along the Ridge Trail, come down behind Towsley Canyon Lodge, and we can show you some of the fire damage and devastation that took place. So what do you say we take a hike? I've been hiking up in these mountains now for about the last 4 years, and there's a lot of well, a lot of the growth has been burned off of the hills, and what's really interesting for me is to be able to see the contour of the land much further and much greater than you could when there was a lot of green growth on it. Anyway, we're standing at a place where about a year ago this time I videotaped a scene where Francisco Lopez was dreaming of swimming in liquid gold, and of course there was water in the creek at that time. There's very, very little water here right now. I don't think you can see it. But this area looks like it's going to come back. These trees have not been damaged, and so I think in a few more years this will all be grown over again. A good tracker knows what he is looking for when he is hunting prey. This is Nike. This is Adidas. Over there is JCPenney. This looks like a good place to sit and rest. While I catch my breath, I'd like to show you some scenes that I took a few weeks back where I hiked into Towsley Canyon. Actually, those mountains behind me up there are Towsley Canyon. There's a really neat place in there called the Narrows, and I took some video pictures in there a few weeks ago, which we show on the channel, by the way, behind the program schedule. You might catch them sometime. But anyway, let's take a look at those pictures now, shall we? Well, what do you say we get going now and finish the rest of our hike? Come on. Well, we've had a really nice time. This hike is 1.5 miles long. I suggest you come out here and take it sometime. It's really good for the old circulatory system. I think the thing that was most interesting to me was out of the blackened, burnt earth came these little green sprouts of grass and other plants. Things are peeping through already, and the fire was just about 4 weeks ago. So obviously the damage is not going to be permanent up here. Anyway, I'd like to thank you for joining us. I hope you will join us again next time. For Points of Interest, this is Philip Scorza.